Hello, y'all. Jay here. Y'all might be wondering why am I all tie-dyed up, tie-dye shirt, tie-dye necklace, piece necklace, and as well as tie-dye headband. And the reason why is because I've officially become a punk hippie. Like it's called boho punk. It's like literally a mix of punk and hippie, and why is because I have decided that I want to come and bring peace between these two men who have been online enemies since 2015. But they go by the names of Lawrence Connor and Frank Jameson. Stupid pop-up ad, sorry. But the reason why these two men hate each other, just why explanation, is because back in 2015, the year it all started, these men both would happen to be creepy stalkers of the former Nickelodeon actress from the show iCarly, Miranda Cosgrove, and they would desperately send them messages saying that they wanted to fall in love with her despite being old enough to be her dad, both of them. I think Frank's 15 years older than her, but that's still a large age gap. And eventually, Lawrence found out about Frank and began exposing him as a Miranda Cosgrove stalker, even though he is him too, making him a hypocrite. And then Frank found out, and as you can imagine, wasn't too happy. And then he began making up lies about Lawrence being a pedophile, like making videos of him ranting, going, "He's a pedophile. He's a pedophile. He interacts with kids with fake identities, little kids and preteens with fake identities, elementary and middle schooler kids, and uses fake accounts." Yeah, and they've just been enemies ever since, and I once was on Lawrence's side, then left and joined Frank's side. And after I left, well, first I left Lawrence's side, and I decided to go neutral between them. But then Lawrence found out that Lawrence wasn't too happy with me. I told Lawrence that I no longer wanted to be a member of his cult of lackeys, and then he was like, okay. And then I left. Lawrence allowed me to freely leave his cult of lackeys, and then behind my back he freaking hacked my account and got the number to me, my brother, my as well as my parents, as well as our home address. And then he spam called my brother 30 times. And mind you, this was 2019. My brother was 15 and I was 17. He spam called my brother 30 times, begging him to become a lackey. Like, hey, you've got to help me, Frank Jameson. He's easily stronger than me. He's 6'1", I'm 5'7". And I'm weak. I'm fat, and he's strong. Help. Yeah, and after that, I was like, wow, and I was just at the time, I'm 24 now, but at the time I was 17, and I was pissed to shit, and so I decided to join Frank's team because of how pissed I was at Lawrence for basically, doing what I told him not to behind my back, because I told him that I no longer wanted him to be a lackey anymore, and I asked for him to not contact me or my family ever again and to leave us in the past, but he just kept going on and on at the time, but and then first I was with Frank and all that, and still remained part of Frank and would be in group chats with Frank's supporters and all that. But now I've just decided to just straight up become who I've always meant to be. And when I was a little kid in elementary school back in the early 2010s, like 2010, 2011, 2012, when I was between the ages of 8 to 10 years old, I was always fascinated with the hippie culture because I was really obsessed with Scooby Doo. Mind you, I have autism, and because of my autism, I also have an IQ of 111, which is in the range of high average intelligence. And because of the combination of that plus my autism, I outgrew Sesame Street, Barney, VeggieTales, and Mickey Mouse when I was only 4 years old, and instead I liked scary stuff like monsters, like I especially like Scooby Doo because it was about monsters, but I would also watch these monster films like Monster Mash, like a cartoon kids monster film where these three kids meet Dracula, the Wolfman, and Frankenstein, and then they go and battle these villains. One's a large chicken, and the other one is a guy who's a spoof of Freddy and Jason. He has Jason's mask but Freddy's glove. Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, and but anyways, to get closer to a topic, there was my favorite Scooby Doo film, as I absolutely all the time love Scooby Doo because it was everything I loved: vampires, werewolves, witches, ghosts, all that. My favorite Scooby Doo film was this one about aliens called Alien Invaders, where Shaggy falls in love with this hippie girl named Crystal. This hippie, well, actually she's a woman in her 20s, but young. And then and then at the very end we find out, like, it's like a very bizarre twist ending. To find out, like, of course we find out that the aliens aren't real, that they're just bad guys in costumes, but then we find out that Crystal is in fact a true alien, but she's, unlike the bad guys, she's good, and she helps them catch the bad guys and get them arrested, and then they do their typical, like, we would have got laid if it wasn't for you meddling kids and all that shit. Yeah. But anyways, Crystal, like, her being a hippie, and she even has a pet dog that meets with that Scooby Doo meets and falls in love with too. And then we find out at the end that the dog's an alien too, like an alien dog, and because of that, the dog can talk and speak English. You know, and I've just, that really all fascinated me, and because of that, I wanted to be a hippie. 8-year-old me, I just wanted to be a hippie because of Scooby Doo, and here I am at 24, getting to act on that fantasy. And now that I have the privilege, freedom, adult privilege to pay for my own clothes, pick my own style, and pick my own subculture. I'm using my me being both hippie and punk. I'm bringing. I'm not. I'm no longer. I'm done with Frank's side. I'm officially done leaving. I'm done harassing Lawrence under Frank, and I'm not harassing any of them anymore. I'm just gonna bring. I just want, and Lawrence is sending me messages now saying that he wants me to sign his Justice for Lawrence petition, and I'm just not doing that. I'm just here to bring peace and calmness. I'm using my powers, my peace powers, and I command in my hippie prayer. I am also a non-denominational too, by the way. Forgot to mention, but I will be saying a prayer to God, as well as just the peace and spiritual and wilderness, like Mother Nature. I will say a prayer that Frank Jameson and Lawrence Connor find peace and no longer fight, and that Frank can forgive Lawrence for having his hitman beat the shit out of his daughter with baseball bats. Like, he had like an army of lackeys to track his daughter down while she was walking alone, and just beat the shit out of her with baseball bats until she died. And there was this other lackey that personally attacked Frank. He like attacked him with a claw hammer, like at 7-Eleven, crazy shit. And Lawrence is like wanting Frank dead, and is stopping at nothing to get his hitman to kill Frank, to basically kill Frank. And he was also getting his hitman to send Frank suicide letters, like, you should kill yourself. And like Lawrence needs to stop wanting Frank dead, and Frank needs to stop with his getting revenge on Lawrence for wanting him dead. I just want there to be peace and happiness. And I'll also say a prayer that Frank's daughter Mackenzie rest well, and that that the animals that did that, the Lawrence, will also wake up and realize what they did is wrong and feel guilty, and that Lawrence will feel guilty for for committing what's called conspiracy murder. And that's all I have to say. So there, Frank and Lawrence, it's just time. Y'all gotta work things out, talk, and just be men, not trolls. All right. Does that sum it up, y'all?